She's scheduled to put in an 8-hour day like most of us, but while we were watching with her undercover camera, a typical workday was 5 hours. On top of that, this Wayne County juvenile court judge is keeping lots of people waiting, wasting their time and putting justice on hold. It's a Thursday morning and Judge Sheila Gibson is pulling out of her subdivision heading into work. The 7 Action News investigators are right on her tail. Why? Because it's almost 11 o'clock as she walks into the courthouse. She was supposed to be in at 8:30 and her first case was on the docket for 9. This is a chronic thing. She leaves people waiting virtually every day for hours. Lots of people. Prosecutors, defense attorneys, clerks, social workers, parents, and kids. People like this guy whose son ran afoul of the law were hiding his identity because his kid's still under her thumb.
We had to show up at 9 o'clock, and then she wouldn't show up until she felt like it, 12:30 in the afternoon. So my attorney I had to get rid of because of the cost. I couldn't pay him for 3 hours to sit there.
Judge Gibson makes $140 grand a year as a Wayne County juvenile court judge, and it's clear that taxpayers aren't getting their money's worth. We tracked her for 5 days straight, and she's a habitual slacker. Monday, October 15th, she strolls in at 10:42 a.m. The next day, October 16th, arrives at 10:38 a.m. October 17th at 10:58. October 18th, 10:30 a.m. And October 19th, 10:05 a.m. On all 5 of those days, she had cases on her docket at 9 a.m. and left folks waiting. Gibson's start time isn't the only problem. We also caught her bailing out early. Check out the hours on the door. Court goes till 4:30, but here she is hitting the road at 4:05. She worked 5 hours and 26 minutes on this day, and that was her longest day in 5 days we watched her come and go. 6 days in, our investigation took an unexpected turn. Our producer was up in that second-floor window taking her picture as she walked in late. Courthouse sources tell us she spotted our producer. She knew someone was checking up on her but didn't know who. So did that scare her straight? She just changed up her routine, abandoning her reserved parking spot and hiding her car in this spot, reserved for skilled tradesmen. I don't know if she's a skilled tradesman, but she certainly is skilled at finagling a short workday. We followed her again and watched her pull into her secret spot at 20 minutes to 10. When we returned at 2 p.m., her car was gone. At 2:15, she pulled into her subdivision and went into her home. 3 p.m., she heads out again, and we follow her north into Ferndale. The courthouse is in the opposite direction. Then another strange turn. It was obvious she spotted us tailing her. She pulled into this parking space, kind of cockeyed. We kept driving and let her go. A few minutes later, we found her car back at the courthouse, but not for long.
It's 4:14.
15 minutes before quitting time, another 5-hour day. Sources tell us this has been going on for years. Everybody knows it's been going on, and it's a running joke in the courthouse, with people guessing what time she'll show up. So how does she get away with it?
There's no accountability down there. And I'm accountable, you're accountable. We all need to be accountable.
Time for an unscheduled accountability session, a sidebar with the judge. When she sees me coming, she tries to hightail it. Your Honor, I'd like to ask you some questions about your work hours. You're a little late, aren't you? Finally, she rolls her window down, but she doesn't want to talk about her short work days.
My mother passed, and her birthday was it's not a good day for me. It's really.
Well, I'm sorry about that, but your work hours are not standard. You're not working 8 hours a day. We've been watching, Your Honor. We have video to show it.
Okay.
You've been working 5-hour days most days. People are waiting in your courtroom for 2 hours. She mumbled something and drove off, then was escorted into the building by 2 sheriff's deputies.
I like to see her do her job, show up and respect everybody else the way she's getting paid for it. Show up at 9 o'clock like the rest of the court. A Michigan Supreme Court rule says a definite time must be set for all court sessions, and the judge shall promptly open a session. But there's no mechanism for tracking a judge's work hours. A Supreme Court spokesperson told us they're on the honor system. Virgil Smith is the chief judge presiding over the Third Circuit that includes the juvenile court. We asked Smith who holds judges accountable. He said the public does because judges are subject to an election. He said we would hold them accountable through our investigation. He said he looked forward to watching our story and holding them accountable too. We'll let you know what happens. Scott Lewis, 7 Action News.